Hey guys, Scott and Vanessa Martindale here with Blended Kingdom Families. At BKF, we believe now is the time to change the modern day interpretation of the blended family.
Absolutely, you guys. As a blended family ourselves, God laid it on our hearts to build a ministry that helps support blended families by equipping your marriage, uniting the family unit, and igniting your faith. Our mission is that you would be touched by God and experience His goodness through this ministry, that your family would have practical skills, resources, and tools to help you live that abundant blended life.
Fist bumping?
You are definitely fist pumping, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Hey guys, Scott and Vanessa Martindale here with Blended Kingdom Families. We are super excited to have some really great friends with us, Justin and Michaela. Welcome to the podcast. Yay! Welcome to the studio. Excited to have you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, together you guys have 3 kiddos. Justin, you have 2 biological, a daughter and a son. And Michaela, you have a beautiful 6-year-old who is just super funny.
Oh, thank you.
She's so cute.
Wonderful, yes. Wonderful. And uniquely, you guys are kind of headlining this beginning to blend scenario.
Right.
So you guys are not quite married yet, but we're moving in that direction. We're moving in the direction.
It may be at a snail's pace, but we are moving.
Okay. Well, that's good. But it's great that you guys are utilizing resources because you know blended families can be challenging. So I know that you guys have been great supporters of the ministry and great, seeking knowledge and wisdom in those areas. So let's get started. So as a new blended family and you're beginning to blend, you're taking some steps. What have you done to better equip yourselves? What are you guys doing in your relationship, your family, and practically with your faith?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you start off because you're more of the reader.
I do. I like to read. So I kind of started to read about, parenting. Mm-hmm. You know, there is no real guideline, but I've never actually read a parenting book. Mm-hmm. So I started reading one, and it was by Robin Berman. She's a MD, and it's called Permission to Parent. Mm. And so I've been reading that book along with those books, and then the four
Laws of Love.
4 Laws of Love. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Wonderful book. Yeah.
I'm on my second time around reading it. It's
awesome.
I can't put it down. So really, you really have to get away from listening to society. You have to, and you have to dive into books, whether you like to read or not. You have to dive into books and read it and understand it and comprehend it, because otherwise you're not going to know what's good for you.
Yeah.
Well, it's tough because, and you're right, Michaela, society has gotten it wrong more times than they've gotten it right. And we look at the stats and we understand the challenges, and obviously you want to set yourself up for success. So diving into those materials, the books, I mean, there's great resources. You guys were also in our first class that we taught at Gateway, and we were excited to have you guys in the class, and that was a wonderful experience. Thank you for encouraging us to do that. So that was a lot of fun too. Justin, what do you think? What have you implemented as?
Well, for me, it was, when I first got divorced, the idea of moving into a relationship it scared me to death because of the kids and, how they would take it and, how they would, take that information back to their mother's house. But a lot of that was based off of, again, society and all of the negative connotations that I had heard about it. And then, when we started dating, and just for us, it was just communicating and just talking through, different things. And then finally, Michaela kind of giving me that little push to start bringing her and Jesse around the kids more often than we were. And then it was, talking to you, Scott, at work, just about, what we were doing, what I was doing, things like that. And then, really diving into my family, who were, they've been so supportive throughout the entire process, and even, more so since Michaela came on, or started coming around.
Maybe they like her more than you. I don't know. There's something,
And we
something
can say
there.
that because we're your good friends.
Yeah, my dad definitely does. So I think, Mom is probably 50-50.
Yeah.
So, but, your class, I've joined a bunch of groups on Facebook, just support groups. One of them is a divorced dads group, and there's a guy on there that he, does some stuff, and just as far as reaching out to individuals who have questions, and so it's just been a lot of that. I try to read some of the books that she has, but I'm not very
Not a book
attentive.
reader?
No, I'm not. But I
That's
have
okay.
listened to some podcasts and some audiobooks, so I'm more of a listening type of guy.
Yeah.
I just tell him everything that I read.
Yeah.
And he's like,
So
Well, that's what couples are for.
That's my audiobook.
If one gains knowledge, the other one gains it with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Get to make sure that she tells you all about those.
No, and she does.
That's awesome.
I do.
So good.
Well, that's awesome. What have you guys taken and implemented as a blended family and couple who is progressing toward marriage? What have you done to start blending your family together? You mentioned starting to, obviously blend the kids together. And I know you've done a lot of things intentionally, and some things that you haven't done intentionally. So just kind of walk through that process as you're in that dating relationship, and maybe you can go back to even when you first started dating and kind of what your mentality was of how to make that a healthy transition.
So when we first started dating, I knew pretty much from the get-go that this was going to be a long-term, forever thing. It took her a little longer to get there. We can go back to the whole
Don't even.
the first meeting. But, I knew the kids liked her because I convinced her to come over to the house before we started dating and bring Jessie over because she was coming to visit her sister, and bring Jessie over and have a little play date with Aubrey and Dylan, and then her and I could catch up. And from the minute she walked in the door, my two kids are usually pretty shy when they first meet somebody, but with her, they were just, very talkative and very engaged.
That's awesome.
And then, we just kind of left it at that, especially once we started dating. And then probably about 6 months after the fact, we started coming around and going to parks and
Well, that's good.
water parks and things like that. But we did it sparingly. And then I think the biggest breakthrough for us was Aubrey's 9th birthday. My parents came into town, and Michaela was there and helped set everything up. And then we've kind of just let, without giving them too much control, kind of let the kids kind of push us in that path of how quickly or not quickly to move in a direction. So, they all started to flourish as far as just
Bonding together.
just their relationships and just their individual growth.
So basically letting the kids kind of dictate, the pace of the relationship and the pace of
Just their
exposure.
comfort level.
Yeah.
I think to an extent, and I didn't really see us. I didn't see during the class. There's a pyramid. There's God, there's spouse, there's kids, and I didn't know, but we actually did that without even knowing that we did that because I firmly believe that the reason why the kids were so on board and why the comfort levels didn't take them years to be comfortable, but just months, was because they saw us and how we were with each other. We weren't just, two people sitting on opposite sides of a couch together, who like each other. They saw us interacting and us taking care of each other and loving each other, so they felt comfortable and like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, well, they like each other, they love each other. Well, if Dad does, then I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
Especially if Mom does, I guess it's okay. So
Yeah.
I think we didn't realize we were doing that, but because we did, we made it easy for them
Yeah.
But we
without
did-
having to push them.
Yeah, but we gave them a voice on other things too, and,
absolutely.
built a level of trust with them to where they were comfortable coming and talking to us about whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Not even stuff regarding the blended family, but just them individually, and that was something that was missing for a long time because they were scared of, especially Aubrey and Dylan, they were scared of hurting either my feelings or Michaela's feelings or Mama's feelings, or
Which is understandable. I mean, kids take all feelings into consideration, and that's one thing that we've really been like, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can't control that, and you can't try to control that. You have to let that happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, talking about struggles, what are some things that you guys have struggled with in your family and maybe as a couple as you've, begun this process to blend?
You said you had an answer for this one.
Dang it, I did. Okay. Well, one of the, mine was actually a recent struggle. And it was very, very recent, where I gotten so busy with work, life, and everything. And for a brief second, I allowed myself, to kind of get out of my own comfort zone. And so I kind of got away from we and us every time that we talked. And I would just say I. And so, again, the great thing about him and I is we have communication. So even if one of us is seeing the other person kind of derailing or changing, we can bring it up to each other and not get mad. In fact, we'll say, well, why didn't you bring it up to me sooner? Just like you would to a kid.
Yeah.
But you're not a kid. I'm not saying you're a kid, I promise. but
All men have children-like qualities.
but I did. I kept saying, I didn't even know I was doing it until he brought it to my attention. So the struggle there is it's very easy to get back to, the selfish part. But if you do that, then that's how you derail. That's where the tiniest thing can become the biggest issue. That's when a kid is giving you attitude. All of a sudden becomes, well, why? And then it spirals off 10 different directions when really it's a kid.
Yeah.
Who is just testing, which is normal and typical.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, except just figure out how to address it. That's it. So I recently did that, and and he kind of had to. He called me out. He was like, "Well, recently you've been just doing I, you.
Yeah.
What happened to those to me?" And I'm like, "I have no idea, but thank you."
Yeah.
So, and that changed real quick. But it's being able. If you can't communicate with your partner, whether it's good or bad, or you can't allow them to call you out, and if you can't call them out, even if you're right or wrong, because you can still talk about it, then there's no way that you're going to be able to blend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't,
Yeah.
because then kids are going to see how you communicate with each other.
Well, and it throws the whole balance of the relationship off.
Absolutely.
So there is an accountability to each other. What other ways have you guys struggled as you've gone through that blending process?
Well, one of the things that we struggled with probably 6 months ago or so, kind of when all the lawsuit was going on, that was a lot of stress on me, but I didn't want to, we were doing really good, and we were having a lot of fun, but that stress was just weighing down on me, and so, I would talk to her about the things of the lawsuit that were discussed, but there was a time where I was sheltering her, and that's what I felt I was doing, and basically it was omitting stuff by not telling her, but sheltering her from conversations that I was having with the ex.
Yeah.
And it got to a point she was like, "You need to talk to me."
Yeah.
Did you do that because you felt like you needed to protect the relationship?
Well, I felt like I needed to protect her.
Protect her.
Just based on conversations that or messages that were had, and she was like, "Good, bad, or ugly, you need to tell me about those conversations because it's weighing on you." Which then, whether you realize it or not, you're sitting here and while we're eating dinner, and your teeth are clenched the entire time while we're watching a show. You're not talking. You're not engaged. You're unhappy. You're not smiling as much. You're not playing with the kids like you usually do. Things like that.
Yeah.
And so, I started opening up more about just everything in regards to that, and that alone was a big stress reliever for me because we were able to work through things together and respond as a cohesive unit when need be, and that shut down a lot of the negative that was coming our direction.
It really did.
Great nuggets there, Justin, and I appreciate you being open and honest about that. I know you guys are moving in a process towards marriage. As you look at the kiddos and as you look at kind of those next steps, what's important to you? What are you guys actively planning in terms for the kiddos, things like that?
actively planning is for the kiddos as far as what?
I'm just saying in terms of preparing them for that.
Well,
Funny thing about that.
the kids are kind of already prepared.
Yeah.
Aubrey and Jesse are 100% on board. Dylan is probably about 85%, I would say. And a lot of his hesitation is he doesn't want mama's feelings to be hurt. I recently had a conversation with her, and she actually, I don't want to say blessing, but she actually wants us to get married.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to pull Dylan aside next time we're with them, and I'm going to have a conversation with them and let him know, hey, I talked to mama, and here's what she said.
Yeah.
So just being open about that conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because
Yep.
my ex and I are utilizing a family facilitator to help us work through some of our, I guess, drama moments, for lack of a better term. And
It's a good tool.
that has opened up
Really
a
is.
big line of
is.
communication for us because, we were court ordered to use our family wizard exclusively, but the family facilitator wants us to communicate outside of our family wizard, and he wants us to have weekly phone calls just to discuss what's going on with the kids and what's upcoming for the kids. So
That's good.
That really helps.
and that has been a
Like-
big help as far as the kids being like,
Because
Yeah.
they were starting to open up anyways, but just that alone, that tiny little thing alone, it's a big thing, but that tiny little thing just allows the kids to communicate more. So with the whole, bringing forward with marriage, it's now, they're like, well, like Aubrey's like, so what colors were you thinking? And I'll tell her, she'll be like, yes. Or Jessie would be like, I just want to wear a princess dress. And I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, when are you going to do it? When? So now they're excited about it.
Yeah.
And so it's fun because it means that they're seeing what happy and what love is, and they're seeing, and they're comfortable with it. So, and it's a big step.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes months, sometimes it takes years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Wonderful. We love that. Guys, obviously, you have gone into this process committedly, and you know that there are challenges. If people are watching and they're like, what encouragement could you give a blended, whether they're a new blended family, maybe they're, I know a lot of people are in that I'm dating a single parent family, and they're looking at what's the blended part of this. What encouragement would you give them? What would you say to them?
communicate about everything. If the children, if both parties have children involved, don't treat one kid differently than you treat the other ones.
Yeah.
That's one thing that we are hardcore with each other on, is that, if we do something for one kid, like let's say we do something for Jesse, even though Aubrey and Dylan aren't with us, we do the same thing for them when they come. Their biggest thing, I don't know, Roblox, if y'all are in that mode yet with your kiddos, but that's a big thing with our three, and you have to buy Robux for certain things.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, Robux? What is a Robux?
It's some fake money that you have to pay with real money to get on a game so that they can buy stuff in the game.
yes.
In the game.
Oh.
Kind of like what we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. No, I
Kind
know
of
what
like
that
Minecraft
is.
type
Yes.
stuff.
So it's
So,
in Minecraft and
Yeah.
but we bought
Yes.
Jesse some Robux day before yesterday.
Yes.
And so this morning for their trip, we
Yeah.
bought Aubrey and Dylan the same amount of Robux so that they could have.
Yeah.
So, just communicate with each other
Yeah.
about everything.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how small, how big.
Yeah.
Work through everything together. And then, as far as the kiddos are concerned, just make sure you're doing everything the same, and no one child should feel more special than the other one.
Got it.
and go into everything with no conditions. And when I say that, it's like love.
Yeah.
If you really like somebody, like them unconditionally. If you love somebody, love them unconditionally. Don't have if you don't do this anymore, then find all this, don't put limits on anything. Just, we're all blended to begin with.
Yeah.
Your parents met, they were blended.
Yeah.
I'm sure one or the other didn't like the in-laws, or one or two in-laws. So, everyone had to blend.
Yeah.
When you were born, you blended with your parents.
Yeah.
Everybody blends. So just keep that in mind, that it's not so far-fetched.
Yeah.
And it's not as far and as bad as you think.
And it's definitely possible.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hey friends, we hope that this episode is blessing your socks off right now, and we just want to take an opportunity to talk about partnering together. If Blended Kingdom Families has touched your marriage and touched your blended family in some way, we'd love to partner with you.
At Blended Kingdom Families, we're trying to reach as many blended families as possible, and we can do more with your support. So please take an opportunity to visit blendedkingdomfamilies.com and click partner. Hope you enjoy the rest of the episode.
All right, guys. Well, last question, just to wrap it up. So, Blended Kingdom Families is the name of our ministry. But what does that mean to you? What is a blended kingdom family to you?
For me, anyways, it's a team, but it's so much more than just us being a team. It's our faith, it's our children, it's our our extended families, whether that be parents, siblings, things of that nature, or our work family, or just our friends across the street. Everybody's in this battle with you. You're not out there alone, no matter how tough the situation is. So you always have a team behind you, and for me, that's what this is. It's a big old team that has your back.
Cheering you on. Woohoo!
We love it.
A funny thing is earlier I asked Jessie today, this morning she woke up and I was, hey Jessie, I figured I'll ask a kid, what does blending mean, blending a family mean to you? I was like, I'll just see what she says. Jessie says some crazy things, so let's just see. So I asked her and she goes, Mom, I get a brother and a sister. She was like, and I have a mom and dad. That's blending. And I was like, okay. And I was like, so that's what blending is? She goes, yes. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, all right.
Oh, you gotta love the honesty of a child. I love it. I love it.
Love it.
Well, guys, thanks so much for being with us today. We're so appreciative of Justin and Michaela for sharing their testimony with us. Scott and Vanessa Martindale with BKF. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Be blessed in all that you do.
You guys are great.
That was good, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Hey BKF community, we want to hear from you guys. If you would take the time to leave us a review, and you can find us on all social media platforms. Our podcast is on every podcast platform, and you can visit us at our website at www.blendedkingdomfamilies.com.
Yeah, guys, we're trying to reach every blended family all over the world, and we can't do this without your partnership. So please take a minute, share, comment, review, tell your friends. Tell them they can all go to blendedkingdomfamilies.com for great resources.